Hello again, so happy to see you. We are reading from the Complete Jewish Bible, which is a translation of the Hebrew Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 through 9, Shema. Hear Israel, Adonai our God. Adonai is one, and you are to love Adonai your God with all your heart, all your being, and all your resources. These words which I am ordering you today are to be on your heart, and you are to teach them carefully to your children. You're to talk about them when you sit at home, when you're traveling on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. Tie them on your hand as a sign. Put them at the front of a headband around your forehead, and write them on the doorframes of your house and on your gates. Matthew chapter 9, verses 9 to 14. Our Father in heaven, may your name be kept holy. May your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us the food we need today. Forgive us our trespasses as we too have forgiven those who've wronged us. And do not lead us into hard testing, but keep us safe from the evil one. For kingship, power, and glory are yours forever. And now if we can please turn to Genesis chapter 11. The whole earth used the same language, the same words. It came about that as they traveled from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and lived there. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them in the fire." So they had bricks for building stone and clay for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let's build ourselves a city with a tower that has its top reaching up into heaven, so that we can make a name for ourselves and not be scattered all over the earth." Adonai came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Adonai said, "Look, the people are united. They all have a single language, and see what they're starting to do. At this rate, nothing they set out to accomplish will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse them. Their language. Let's confuse their language so that they won't understand each other's speech." So from there Adonai scattered them all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. For this reason it is called Babel, confusion, because there Adonai confused the language of the whole earth, and from there Adonai scattered them all over the earth. Here's the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he fathered Arpachshad, 2 years after the flood. After Arpachshad was born, Shem lived another 500 years and had sons and daughters. Arpachshad lived 35 years and fathered Shalach. After Shalach was born, Arpachshad lived another 403 years and had sons and daughters. Shalach lived 30 years and fathered Ever. After Ever was born, Shalach lived another 403 years and had sons and daughters. Ever lived 34 years and fathered Peleg. After Peleg was born, Ever lived another 430 years and had sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and fathered Reu. After Reu was born, Peleg lived another 209 years and had sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years and fathered Serug. After Serug was born, Reu lived another 207 years and had sons and daughters. Serug lived 30 years and fathered Nachor. After Nachor was born, Serug lived another 200 years and had sons and daughters. Nachor lived 29 years and fathered Terach. After Terach was born, Nachor lived another 119 years and had sons and daughters. Terach lived 70 years and fathered Avram, Nachor, and Haran. Here is the genealogy of Terach. Terach fathered Avram, Nachor, and Haran. And Haran fathered Lot. Haran died before his father Terach in the land where he was born in Ur of the Kasdim. Then Avram and Nachor took wives for themselves. The name of Avram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nachor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran. He was the father of Milcah and of Jishka. Sarai was barren. She had no children. Terach took his son Avram, his son Haran's son Lot, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they left Ur of the Kasdim to go to the land of Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they stayed there. Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. Now if we could go to Joshua chapter 11, please. Excuse me. When Javin, king of Hatzor, heard of it, he informed Jevav, king of Madon, the king of Shimron, the king of Akhashaph, the kings to the north in the hills in the Arava, south of Kinrat, in the Shephelah, and in the regions of Dor on the west, the Canaanites to the east and west, the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Jebusites in the hills, and the Hivites at the foot of Hermon in the land of Mizpah. So they set out, they and all their armies, many people, in number like the sand at the seashore, with very many horses and chariots. All these kings met together, then came and pitched camp together at the Merom spring to fight Israel. Adonai said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid on their account, because at this time tomorrow I will hand them over, all of them dead before Israel. You are to hamstring their horses and burn up their chariots." So Joshua came against them suddenly with all the fighting men and fell on them at the Merom spring. Adonai handed them over to Israel. They attacked and chased them to Greater Sidon, Mitzrephat, and Mayim, and eastward to the Mizpah valley. They attacked them until none of them was left. Joshua did to them what Adonai had ordered. He hamstrung their horses and burned up their chariots. Then Joshua turned back and captured Hatzor, striking its king dead with the sword, for in time past Hatzor had been the head of all those kingdoms. They put everyone there to death with the sword, completely destroying them. There was nothing left that breathed, and he burned Hatzor to the ground. Joshua captured all the cities of those kings and the kings as well. He defeated them with the sword and completely destroyed them, as Moshe the servant of Adonai had ordered. But as for the cities built on their tells, Israel burned none of them except Hatzor. Joshua did burn that one. All the spoil of these cities and the livestock of the people of Israel took as bounty for themselves. But every human being they put to death with the sword until they had destroyed them. They left no one breathing. Moshe had given orders to Joshua, just as Adonai had given orders to Moshe his servant, and Joshua acted accordingly. He did everything Adonai had ordered Moshe. So Joshua captured all the land, the hills, the Negev, all the lands of the Goshen, the Shephelah, the Arava, and the Israel hills and Shephelah. From there, from the barren mountain that goes up to Seir, to Baal Gad, in the Lebanon valley under Mount Hermon, and he took all their kings, struck them, and put them to death. Joshua made war with all those kings for a long time. Not one city made peace with the people of Israel, except for the Hivites living in Givon. They took everything in battle, for it was Adonai who caused them to harden their hearts and come against Israel in battle, so that they would be utterly destroyed, so that they would not find favor but be destroyed, in keeping with the orders of Adonai, the orders Adonai had given Moshe. Joshua at that time came and cut off the Anakim from the land, from Hebron, Devir, Anab, and from all the hill country of Judah and Israel. Joshua utterly destroyed them and their cities. No Anakim were left in the land of the people of Israel. Only in Azah, Gat, and Ashdod did some remain. Joshua took the whole land in keeping with all that Adonai had said to Moshe and to Israel, according to their divisions into tribes. Then the land rested from war. And now we're going to Psalms chapter 11. It's by David. In Adonai I find refuge. So how can you say to me, flee like a bird to the mountains? See how the wicked are drawing their bows and setting their arrows on the string to shoot from the shadows at honest men? If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? Adonai is in his holy temple. Adonai, his throne is in heaven. His eyes see and test humankind. Adonai tests the righteous. He hates the wicked and the lover of violence. He will rain hot coals down on the wicked. Fire, sulfur, and scorching wind will be what they get to drink. For Adonai is righteous. The upright will see his face. Matthew chapter 11. After Joshua had finished instructing the 12 Talmidim, he went on from there to teach and preach in the towns nearby. Meanwhile, Jochanan the Immerser, John the Baptist, who had been put in prison, heard what the Messiah had been doing. So he sent a message to him through his Talmidim, asking, "Are you the one who is to come, or should we look for someone else?" Joshua answered, "Go and tell Jochanan what you are hearing and seeing. The blind are seeing again, the lame are walking, people with sarats are being cleansed, the deaf are hearing, the dead are being raised, the good news is being told to the poor, and how blessed is anyone not offended by me." As they were leaving, Joshua began speaking about Jochanan to the crowds. "What did you go out to the desert to see? Reeds swaying in the breeze? No. Then what did you go out to see? Someone who was well-dressed? Well-dressed people live in kings' palaces. But why did you go out? To see a prophet? Yes, and I tell you, he's much more than a prophet. This is the one about whom the Tanakh says, excuse me, "See, I am sending out my messenger ahead of you. He will prepare your way before you." Yes, I tell you that among those born of women, there has not arisen anyone greater than Johanan the Immerser. Yet the one who is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the time of Jochanan the Immerser until now, the kingdom of heaven has been suffering violence. Yes, violent ones are trying to snatch it away. For all the prophets of the Torah prophesied until Jochanan. Indeed, if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah, whose coming was predicted. If you have ears, then hear. Oh, what can I compare this generation with? They're like children sitting in the marketplaces calling out to each other. We made happy music, but you wouldn't dance. We made sad music, but you wouldn't cry. For Jochanan came fasting, not drinking. So they say, he has a demon. The Son of Man came eating freely and drinking wine. So they say, aha, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Well, the proof of wisdom is in the actions it produces. Then Joshua began to denounce the towns in which he had done most of his miracles, because the people had not turned from their sins to God. Woe to you, Chorazin! Woe to you, Beit Sadah! Why, if the miracles done in you had been done in Zoar and Sidon, they would long ago have put on sackcloth and ashes as evidence that they had changed their ways. But I tell you, it will be more bearable for Zoar and Sidon than for you on the day of judgment. And you, Capernaum, will you be exalted to heaven? No, you will be brought down to Sheol. For if the miracles done in you had been done in Sodom, it would still be in existence today. But I tell you that on the day of judgment, it will be more bearable for the land of Sodom than for you. It was at that time that Joshua said, I thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that you concealed these things from the sophisticated and educated and revealed them to the ordinary folks. Yes, Father, I thank you that it pleased you to do this. My Father has handed over everything to me. Indeed, no one fully knows the Son except the Father, and no one fully knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all of you who are struggling and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Numbers chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. May Adonai bless you and keep you. May Adonai make his face shine on you and show you his favor. May Adonai lift up his face toward you and give you his shalom. Thank you again for joining us. Hope to see you again soon. Shalom.